Jonathan, are you ready for the big show? Promote you to a panelist.
All right, very good. Yeah, I first met Scott 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, at the first AI, what was it, Definitive AI seminar in
Yep.
Chicago. And then we've been chatting since. And one of the interesting things, I messaged Scott before this. I was like, oh, it's show and tell. Can I just share some stuff? And I said, oh, I could put together some slides because, like, maybe it would just help keep things on track. And because we can go a million directions. And Scott and I have sometimes in conversations.
Yeah.
And so the premise around all this, just as a starting point, is everything is energy. As quoted by Albert Einstein, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the energy you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Now, if you Google this quote, you will find a lot of people attributing this to Albert Einstein, but it's not Albert Einstein. It's actually Daryl Anka channeling Bashar, often misattributed to Einstein online. Obviously, Einstein developed E equals mc squared, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, and spooky action at a distance. Scott and I have gone way down quantum physics rabbit holes talking about double slit experiment. But the thing that we've learned from that as a species is that the observed thing changes by our act of observing it. And right now, everything we know is being challenged. We've got friends and family and business partners and employees who are all freaked out about AI. And I think one of my messages, especially in this call, is we're leaders for our teams, for our families, for our businesses. And our experience of it and the people we lead's experience of it will be determined by our discernment and where we place our trust and the energy we bring to it. And one of the things that's been so great for me around Ren AI, and you specifically, Scott, is we're going to approach this with positivity and how is this actually making the world better? Because AI is going to be what all human advancement is. We're going to use it for our very best and we're going to use it for our very worst. And how we actually bring ourselves to it is what determines how that goes. I'm going to cover a whole bunch of stuff. We're probably going to go pretty quickly, but we're going to just run through some things really quickly. Just a little bit quick background. I have what we would consider an agency. We do primarily WordPress backups, updates, hosting, security, that kind of thing. And we use AI in a lot of the things that we do. So this is the flow of what we're going to talk about here. We're just going to start some projects really quickly, working asynchronously, because that's a big premise of a context. We're going to talk about the importance of context. And then I'm going to talk about what we've actually built. I'm going to show you some meta prompts that we have and the importance of creating prompts for prompts, which we always talk about on this call. I actually learned about JSON image generating through Ren AI on a call, I don't know, about 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and it has been transformative for me. So I'll show what we've done with that. Just talk about mental frameworks and the importance of context. We'll talk about the system we've built. And then if people want to try it out, I set up a free thing where people can just try out our system if they want to try it and see. Not like a promotional thing. You can sign up for it or whatever. I'm going to do a quick demo of our system just on the front end. And Scott, you've seen this, but I will just do a quick demo. So what we've actually built is a content generation engine that lets people put in any text about anything, and then they can get whatever content on the other side of that they need. So literally ads, any social media content you might need, images, that sort of thing. Scott, maybe we just do like person, place, and context. So just come up with whatever, anything.
Anything, a person, a place, and a context?
Yeah, so maybe I've got a snowman
Let's,
mug right here. So we'll just start with a snowman.
okay, there you go. You probably have some snow up there in the mountains.
Yep. So a snowman place in the Sahara Desert.
Ooh, that's
And
not
the
going to turn out
context is in the
drinking an iced
first
tea.
time in the first time the desert has frozen in 100 years. Cool. So that's going to be like our text content. We can
Okay.
choose anything, right? But now we're going to talk about our business or personality. So you can bring a business context to the system and you can write a very comprehensive business context, but you don't have to, because you can actually go to ChatGPT and create a new chat and say, please write, and I always say please because you never know where this is going. Please write for me a business context that would inform writing and creating content as the company. What company? Pick any company. Samsung. Think of something more specific. I don't know. DeWalt's Tools. I have
like
a
that.
drill sitting right next to me.
What
Right.
I do
Obviously.
also, Jonathan, is if you want to pull it, if you want the context for your business, if you use ChatGPT a lot, you can say, based on what you know about me and my
Hmm.
business, write a short context file that I can use to inform.
Oops. Yeah, and I have this on thinking right now, so it's going to take a
Oh,
minute. That's fine though. So let's just pick something else in here. But I have context stored inside of the system for our business. So I'll actually just pull from my business context, which has all kinds of things about me and my writing style. I actually got this by doing exactly what you suggested. So this is, we don't speak
okay.
direct, we speak directly. We write you rather than many people. Incorporate keywords naturally. We don't use starter phrases. So do not use words like, in this video, I'm going to show you. In this article, you will learn. Just skip these and dig right in. Do not use the words introduction or conclusion. Never use this character, right? The M dash. I would never use an M dash. And then this is what it wrote for me. Write in a strategic yet soulful way. And this is based on content I gave it that I wrote.
Yeah.
Speaking directly to content creators, the tone blends clarity with conviction, mirroring the wisdom of a seasoned strategist and the empathy of a creative ally. Language should be direct, but never robotic, inspiring, but grounded. I would have never written this. This is not what I would write. This is the context that it wrote for me. So
Your
we're going to go
humility
ahead.
would prevent you from communicating that
Yeah,
way.
because it's hard to see yourself. It's hard to know what you do,
That's
right?
right.
But
That's right.
give me a paragraph about how I write, and then use that as an instruction to write how content should be created. So we have hundreds of different content types on the back end of this engine, but we've just pre-selected some options here. So article title, meta description, content outline for 1,000-word article, an article of 1,000 words, an article of 600 words. I'll just check this one too. Photorealistic image and one-to-one, which is good for like Instagram. Landscape images are good for Facebook, and a portrait image is good for like TikTok or various other places online. We're going to
Okay.
write a YouTube video description. We're going to create a YouTube style thumbnail based on that. And then you can
Okay.
just put in,
So to
yep,
recap real quick, you put in a topic, a high level topic, you give it the context of who you are as a business, and then you're saying create a bunch of content around that
yep,
in all these different formats for all these different platforms.
correct. Yep.
Super cool.
So that we can actually create content. And then I'll get back to the presentation and why we do this. But to show just one more example of like asynchronous work. So right now I've put this thing to work for me while I'm doing this presentation. Somebody asked during the previous share, how does Perplexity Comet work? So we're actually going to do something with Perplexity Comet here. And the whole point of this is to talk about asynchronous work. But I'm just going to show, this is a page for a company called Adventure RV Mattress.
Yep. Adventure RV. Yep.
So we created a bunch of ads for Adventure RV using VO3 and CapCut and some audio stuff. I'm just going to play a couple of these so you can see. These are little 15 to 30-second clips that show on YouTube ads and various other places.
Yeah. We're not getting the sound.
Original sound turned on. All the voices matched up to this guy talking. So I can post a link to this, but that's not even what I was going to show. So inside of Comment now, we have a few of these videos as you scroll down that have lorem ipsum text. All of these videos yesterday had lorem ipsum text under it. So I gave it a little bit of context about this page and said, hey, this is a page that we've built in Elementor Pro, and I would like you to write anywhere you see lorem ipsum text, please write the descriptions for these videos. So we're going to go
What?
ahead. Yeah, so it will go in, and we're just going to do this, but
Are
come
you
on.
logged into the back end of the WordPress
Yes.
website? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is, yep. So this is Perplexity, or sorry, Comet's assistant, and I'm going to say anywhere there is lorem ipsum text, please replace it with text that is relevant to the video above it and also engaging to users.
Yeah,
If
Lee, I think
this,
Aaron uses Whisper
yeah,
Flow also
yeah,
for
you could speak this in too. I'm just concerned about doing it at Zoom at the same time.
we
If
might
this
blow
would
up
use a
the
lot of
internet.
tokens, I don't care. Please use as many tokens as you need. So I have Perplexity Pro. It's 1,000,000 tokens. I've never hit 1,000,000 tokens in a month. But
Okay.
it will stop working and say, I've used 4,000 tokens. Do you want me to continue? Just keep working. It's fine. If this would use a lot of tokens, please use as many tokens as you need to while completing this task. We'll just go ahead and just execute this and see. There it goes. So you can tell it's working by this little blue box that shows up around the outside. What it's doing right now is going through, finding all the lorem ipsum on this page, and it's going to rewrite those descriptions under the videos while it's doing the work.
That's absolutely wild. I didn't know it could do that.
And if you're logged in, you have it go to work. This
Right.
is a recent thing for me. This is only in the last, I don't know, 2 weeks that we've started really using Comet Browser in that way. What I have found is that you have to be hyper specific
Oh,
because
sure.
it will just go off the rails. So you have to be hyper specific, but it will do work in that way. The most important thing I wanted to talk about during this presentation is that while I'm doing this presentation, it's working on my behalf, doing things. One of the things that's been really helpful for me being around Ren AI and being around John McGee and Perry is John McGee's structure of this, what AI will and won't do. Productive and predictable, unproductive and predictable, productive and unpredictable, and unproductive and unpredictable. And the idea is in the first three quadrants, you basically figure out ways to either automate, eliminate, or inspire. And a lot of what we talk about on here is creative alchemy, right? Working in your Renaissance time to figure out what you can use ChatGPT to help you with, or what you can use AI models to help you with. But here's an example of something that's productive and predictable, but really hard, right? So I'm an artist. I want to create my music. I want to get it out into the world. You should do all of these steps once you have created your song. Like all of these things should be done. I'm never going to do all of them, right? It's exhausting. And this is why people have record labels and why they have assistants and why they have, but you could build a system that would do all these steps for you to publish your music online. Just to give a couple more examples of things we've done or things I've done, I'm going to show 3 different GPT threads, and I'm just going to put the same prompt into 3. So one is my dad wanted a way to record his genius in the world. And we got him one of these things like Storyworth, where it sends him a question every month. And after a year of doing it, they ask me the same questions all the time. They don't remember what I previously answered. And this 2 years ago, we built this thing for my dad inside here, custom GPT. That is, where is it? Minecraft Brilliance Extractor. So I'm going to show you these 3 different threads and just show you what they do differently. So one is the Silva method, which is a goal setting method. And I'm just going to type in today's, please. And we're going to let that run. So we'll see this one come up. Then I did one for my friend, Nicole, about, she wanted a daily prayer, which talks about her Malaluka business, which talks about homeschooling for her kids, which talks about moving back to New Zealand with a beautiful view. Each one of these threads, though, if you type the same prompt in, it does a different thing, right? And we know that from the GPTs, but I think the vast majority of people on our teams or our businesses don't really know how to use things in this way. And so part of our role as business owners, as entrepreneurs, is to be doing and helping our teams or our families or our partners to understand how this can be used, right? So here's the prompt, today's please. Hers starts with daily prayer, Heavenly Father, because she wanted it as a prayer and she wanted it to always end with a Bible verse. So we got it in here as a Bible verse. Mine that I do for myself is a completely different method of a daily goal setting or awareness system. Mine's much more of a visualization. And I use the ChatGPT app on my phone and I have it read to me in the voice that I've chosen. So you can see this is today's please. Here's your Silva method visualization. It talks about being on the top of a mountain and the smells of the earth and visualizing a flow-filled day. And I'm sipping a rich, earthy cup of tea. It knows that about me. I would drink tea more often than I drink coffee or a hot chocolate. And here's you seeing the systems doing the work as opposed to you diving in and doing the work all the time. Here's my closing intention for the day. I'm the architect of aligned systems. I trust in what I've built. I act when it's time. I rest when it's wise. My vision is unfolding even now and I'm free to live it. That is so different than Nicole's daily prayer reflection, which ends with a Bible verse. This one's customized to Nicole. And my dad's is customized to my dad's. If I type in today's into this one, it will come up with today's date. That's all it does in this thread, because they're just very different contexts that we've given it. And so talk about the importance of context and giving a meta prompt to create prompts, right? You don't want to be the one writing the prompt, and I'll talk about why that is at the end. You can write quick prompts, but you're going to do much better if you let computers talk to computers and the way computers talk to computers. Yeah. So you write prompts that actually write prompts. And we know that from Ren AI. But again, if someone on your team or an employee or a partner is frustrated using AI, it could be because they're thinking write me a blog post about, as opposed to saying, I am a this, right? And I'm trying to accomplish that. And I need to do it in this way. And I need this desired outcome. And then please provide a prompt or the prompts. Explain why it's optimal for my situation. Include any relevant details or constraints. And I have a whole guide I give out to people about like why this is the perfect prompt, right? The promotional languages, the one prompt to rule them all. But it's true. So that's the idea behind this prompt. I'd be happy to share that with anybody. We have a way more complex prompt that I built after learning about JSON prompting on Ren AI. And you can see literally 15 pages of Google Drive for this prompt. But what it will do is output JSON code for you. And then you take that JSON and you put it into a model. It will let you create an exact specific image. And in this case, this particular prompt is creating selfies in realism. So a lot of times it's, oh yeah, I got that image, but you can tell it's AI. With a prompt like this, it's really hard to tell. And what this will actually do, if you ask it to, will output like 5 or 6 different prompts from this one prompt so that you can then run those 5 or 6 different prompts.
Where are you put it? What platforms are you using? Are you using this prompt? You said you
Gemini, OpenAI. So we've got a system that integrates all of these models in one place. And then you decide. So you can actually run what we call a content stream that lets you
I've got it inside of your system. So you're just putting this into an image, text to image model.
Correct. Yeah. So any of them right now are integrated with Gemini, OpenAI, Deep AI, which is actually uses DeepSeek on the back end. But yeah, so you can take and put these in the system, whether ours or somebody else's, but this will give you way more specifics on actually generating the images you want. Everything is context. So context really matters. Like this is Midjourney versus ChatGPT versus CArt versus Gemini Imagen. And you may want to run the same thing in lots of different models to see what you get. This is the exact same prompt in 4 different tools, right? Context is really important. I'm just going to run through some really quick contexts, and then we'll analyze the results of what we got from our work that we started at the beginning. I think of AI as we have this metaphor of a guru on a hill, and we're climbing the hill so that we can ask our one question, right? What is the meaning of life? And the guru always comes back with, what is the meaning of your life? The guru always comes back with a good question. And that's one of the things I love about what I've learned through Ren AI, what I've learned through you, Scott, is use it to ask better questions. Don't use it to get answers, right?
Yeah.
So if you go, though, to the top of a hill and you find, if you were talking to AI at the top of the hill, you would be looking at the largest stadium you've ever seen, filled with every human that has ever existed or currently exists. And so if you ask your question and all of them try and respond at the same time, you're going to get this, you've been in a crowded stadium, right? Probably everybody on this call has been in a crowded stadium. And if you don't say, step your 5 experts forward who are the expert in this thing that I'm trying to accomplish, then you're talking to the entire stadium and you'll hear nothing. If you instead say, I'm trying to accomplish this thing, who are the top 5 experts? And you can discover new experts just by explaining your context.
Yeah.
So you have a context, it has a context, the prompt has a context. We have the story of the genie. The genie comes out of the bottle to grant you your 3 wishes. What nobody ever thinks to ask the genie in these questions, the genie is always portrayed as trying to do something vindictive or evil. No, the genie is trying to give you literally exactly what you've asked for. But if you don't ask the genie, hey, what is it you need to know from me first, right? I'm trying to do this thing. Now, before you answer, what do you need to know from me in order to grant my wish in exactly the way I would like it granted? Please ask me any questions you want and ask me one at a time. We've talked about that on this call. Another context I have for AI is, you've probably seen this somewhere, but I think of it as a super eager intern meeting an enthusiastic life coach. But you can see even the difference here between Midjourney and Google Imagen for the same hyper-realistic 4K photo of a super eager intern, right? Very different results. Context number 4, working asynchronously, which is what we're doing literally right now. It's writing images, it's did the prayer, right? And we have our system on the back end creating content for us right now as we speak. How many streams are flowing around the world right now? Not rivers, right? You could probably figure out how many rivers, but I live by a stream. It's actually called a creek. And how many creeks are running in the world right now? It's impossible to know. But you could harness the value of several of those if you let them run while you were doing other things, if you understood how they flowed.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in our life ends up being like this matrix of we take an action and we don't even know the effects of that. I had some guy come to me like 2 years ago, and I didn't even remember talking to the guy. And he was like, I helped him with something 20 years ago. And he was like, man, that advice you gave me, I started my whole domain reselling business. And he told me like it's like a $20 million a year business or something. So it was great to have that person come back, but you never know that effect. But we live in this matrix of asynchronous kinds of things happening that have an effect. We have an effect. And so the needed mental adjustment, I think, for this asynchronous work is sometimes in the past and sometimes even currently, I'll get frustrated, like trying to get this work done. You try and hire somebody on Fiverr, or you have somebody on your team and they're just not getting it. You have to explain it really thoroughly. And I can end up in this place of like, if I want it done right, I'll just get it done myself, which is, well, we don't need to do that anymore, but we do need to understand asynchronous work and being hyper specific in our requests for the previous reasons of the previous context too, of like the genie or the guru on the hill. The context number 5 is just thinking, which we've talked about, prompts that create prompts. But here's something I haven't heard somebody say in a different way. You're still doing the thinking. You're just not the one coding the thinking. Right? So you think about the thinking, you do the thinking. Everything is code. DNA is code. Math is code. HTML is code. Language, all language is code. And it's the reason why AI is both so amazing and so scary, because it understands most of the code that we understand better than we do. We haven't talked about music generators. We're not even going to talk about that. But if you think about it in terms of prompts that create prompts, meta prompting can make such a huge difference in how you use these tools. Okay, so let's just go quick review. I'm going to switch back to we haven't even gotten into our system. This stuff goes so fast. While we've been doing this presentation, I don't know where it stopped running, but all of our lorem ipsum on the page is now gone.
Excellent.
And it's written descriptions underneath each one of these. So now all I have to do is hit publish, and we've got our descriptions on the page running live on the website while I was doing this presentation. On the back end, our system puts all of our content into a context of a way that you can run through a workflow for generating content. So I'm going to go review. I don't even know if it's completed yet. So we're going to go view this project. Okay. We have in our system, this is our backends of our system, AI content streams. We have Unlikely Frost, the snowman who braved the Sahara. So I'm going to go ahead and open this project, and it's given us a set of topics we can choose from. We have a title. We have our meta description. We have our outline and structure for our article. We have our article pre-written already, and we can then edit this article within the system. We have images pre-generated. It's generated 3 images for us in 3 different aspect ratios, all while we've been on this call, right? We have this ridiculous context, but look at that, right? And then if you needed to, within the system, you can now repurpose any of that content into Instagram carousels, into social content, right? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, email newsletters, infographics. And if you don't like our workflow, we have these things we call stream engines, where you can create all of your own content inside of whatever workflow you want to. You can set up your own steps. So what this one workflow does is creates 10 images plus an article plus a meta description. So if you want to create your own workflow, you can. And then just to show what this one project output, this is for the Mark of Mastery. Mark is part of Ren AI as well. And we generated, there we go. So we'll open this project. And if you want to, within our system, you can use any model that is available within that step, right? So for the article, you can pick from available models. We also have it integrated where you can use your own assistants. If you created your own assistants within OpenAI, we won't go into that's a lot, but we'll go back to the images here. And these are the 10 images that we generated using 10 prompts specifically for the Mark of Mastery for this one article about winning higher paying clients. And it included his social down here, right? So whether you use a system like ours or if you use a different system, most importantly, and one of the biggest things I take away from Ren AI is the quality of the questions you ask will determine the quality of your life. That's a common phrase, right? The more true phrase is the quality of the questions you are asked and answer from what comes inside of you will actually determine even more of the quality of your life. So if you can ask questions that help you get asked questions, you can get your own answers from the 8 billion gurus on a hill. If you want to try out our system, you can. There's a free, this will run you through the demo that I started at the beginning. And yeah, it's just AI content stream / run AI free trial. If you have any questions, I'm on all of the social things. I will post a link to these if you want the one prompt to rule them all, or JSON prompt for creating
Yes, drop
images.
it. Yeah, drop those into the chat, and the resources will pull those, and they'll be included in the call resources.
Will do. Yep. And then they're also all stored on the back end of the system here too. So if you go into your prompts, it'll be preloaded. If you were to go into here and want to use those prompts, you just go into the prompt generator category and you'll see we've pre-stored all the prompts. So if you get into the system at every step, you can see where your prompts are stored as well. So you can also store your prompts within here.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. I know it's a ton. What I love about this is you've created a platform that integrates all of these different AIs to be able to create just like content flows with images and different formatting and different platforms. And I could only imagine, as complex as it is on the front, the back end of this thing must just be a beast. This is really cool.
Most important thing to me, and our tagline is all of your prompts, all of your context, all in your voice. If you add your brand voice, it's going to write as you, as much as it can. You still want to be the human in the loop, but it's going to get you 95% of the way there. And then we've got publishing steps as well. So I didn't even show that, but you can publish now from inside of here to other platforms as well. Somebody could go in here and just create a whole bunch of junk content. But I think as we move forward, the most important thing is that we can bring our authenticity to the table. This just
Yep.
allows you to bring your authenticity at scale.
Sweet. Thanks for sharing, my friend. I
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.